Hey, welcome to The Explainer. Our whole goal here is to take powerful ideas and turn them into insights you can actually use.
All right, so let's start with a problem I bet you've run into. You've got a fantastic idea, right? A really promising marketing campaign or a project that has huge potential. But for whatever reason, it's just stalled. It's not getting the traction it should, and the whole team just feels a little out of sync. And you've probably tried all the usual stuff, right? New tactics, digging into the data. But what if the real solution here is a little deeper? What if the key isn't in what you do, but in the fundamental mindset you bring to the whole challenge of success itself? Today, we're going to crack open Napoleon Hill's classic, Think and Grow Rich. But here's the twist. We're not treating this like some dusty old self-help book. Oh no, we're looking at it as what it really is, the original startup manual, a strategic playbook that's just as relevant for business owners and marketers today. Okay, first things first. Before we get into any how-tos, we have to start where Hill starts, and that's with a total shift in your mindset. So let's forget the tactics for a second. Let's talk about the real starting line for any big achievement. The big idea here is so simple, it's almost easy to miss. Your thoughts literally create your reality. I mean, think about it in business terms. That new marketing strategy, your Q4 goals, that game-changing product, none of it starts in a lab or a spreadsheet. It starts as an idea, a focused thought. That's the real ground zero for any tangible result. And man, this quote really nails it. Hill is basically saying that the success of your business, or, well, the failure of your project, isn't just bad luck. It's a direct outcome. It's the predictable result of the thoughts that you and your team are focused on day in and day out. Okay, so if thoughts are that powerful, the million-dollar question is, how do you actually take a big idea and turn it into a concrete business plan? You know, one that actually works. Well, it all kicks off with what Hill calls a burning desire. And let's be clear, this isn't just wishful thinking like, I hope we get more sales. No, for a business, this is your mission, your core vision, what Hill calls your definite chief aim. It's that one goal that's so crystal clear and intense that everything else you do just naturally organizes itself around it. And this is where Hill stops being a philosopher and becomes a project manager. He gives this incredibly practical 6-step formula. Seriously, look at this. It's not some abstract concept. You're fixing an exact revenue target, figuring out your value proposition, setting a hard deadline, creating the strategic plan. Then you write it all down in a mission statement, and, this is key, you read it out loud every single day. It's all about keeping yourself and your team laser-focused. Now, those 6 steps, they're really just the starting point. They're part of a much bigger 13-step blueprint. You can see the whole list here. It covers everything from organized planning and decision-making to persistence. We're not going to dive into all 13 today, but just think of them as a set of interconnected business strategies. When you put them all together, they create this unstoppable momentum. But, a brilliant plan is completely worthless if you don't have the will and the discipline to actually execute it, right? Especially when things get hard. This is fascinating. Hill's research pointed to one massive difference: a daily habit that separated the winners from the losers, how they make decisions. The successful folks, they get the facts, they decide quickly, and they move. They don't look back. Unsuccessful people, they drag their feet, they second-guess everything, and that hesitation just kills all momentum. And after making that decision, you gotta have follow-through. Look, I know this quote sounds like something on a motivational poster, but in business, it's just a fundamental truth. Persistence is the one thing you absolutely can't skip. It's what separates the big names from all the companies that just faded away. And what's so brilliant here is that Hill shows us persistence isn't just, gritting your teeth and pushing through. It's a habit you can actually build systematically. You need that clear goal. You need a plan you're working on every day. You have to shut out all the negativity. And this is a big one, you need a support system to have your back. And that last part, that friendly alliance, that leads us straight to what Hill called the driving force behind literally every huge success story he studied. He called it the mastermind. So what is a mastermind? In today's language, just think of it as your executive team, your board of advisors, or maybe that one elite project team that just clicks. It's a strategic group of people, all focused on one single clear goal. Like Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak back in the early days of Apple. One had the vision, the other had the engineering genius. And together, they built something way bigger than either of them could have done alone. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Hill believed that when a team is working in perfect harmony, their combined brain power literally creates a new intelligence. He called it a third mind. It's this synergistic energy that comes up with solutions and ideas that no single person in the group could have ever thought of on their own. That, right there, is the secret sauce of amazing teamwork.
And of course, he gives us a playbook for it. Here's the 4-step process for building this kind of force multiplier for your own team. You pick the right people, strategically. You make sure it's a win-win for everybody involved. You meet regularly, consistently. And most importantly, you protect the harmony of that group at all costs. Because without that harmony, that third mind just can't work its magic.
Okay, let's put all the pieces together. How do you actually use this blueprint? The mindset, the plan, the persistence, the teamwork to rescue that project that's stuck in the mud.
The very first move is a major mental shift. That project that stalled out, that marketing campaign that bombed, it's not a failure. Hill is adamant about this. You have to see it as a temporary defeat. It's nothing more than a signal, a piece of feedback, telling you that your current plan has a flaw, and it needs an update.
This one idea changes the whole game. A setback isn't the end. It's actually an asset. It has valuable data baked right into it. It contains a lesson, what Hill calls the seed of an equivalent advantage. Your only job is to find that seed, learn from it, and plant it in your next attempt.
So when things go south, you don't give up. You run this 4-step turnaround playbook. Step 1, accept the feedback from the market. No ego. Step 2, rebuild your plan based on what you just learned. Step 3, take that new plan to your mastermind group and let them poke holes in it. And Step 4, execute that new, improved plan with absolute, unshakable persistence until you hit your goal.
You know, when you boil it all down, this entire philosophy lands on one simple but really powerful truth. The only limits that are real are the ones we accept in our own minds. So take a look at your business, your career, that big goal you have. Which impossible goal are you going to make possible?
Subscribe for more actionable executive summaries, and if you want deeper insights and exclusive content, support the channel on Patreon. You'll find the link in the description.